Russell Westbrook is his biggest critic, and when asked about his recent bad form, being brutally honest, he said, "I can't make a effing shot, boy." He was speaking in the post-match conference after the Los Angeles Lakers lost to the Sacramento Kings, a match which saw the in-house DJ play the song Cold as Ice on each of Westbrook's missed shots. In today's video, we'll be discussing Russell Westbrook's poor form this season. Stay tuned. First, Russell's slump or a bump in the road. Russell Westbrook, 9-time NBA All-Star and NBA Most Valuable Player (MVP) for the 2016-17 season, has been in shocking form lately. Westbrook managed to score a meager 8 points, shooting 2 for 14 in 37 minutes. He has shot 8 for 40 in the last 3 games, 7 for 19, 4 for 14, and last Sunday, 2 for 12, with his last three-pointer coming 6 games ago on December 29. According to Frank Vogel, the coach for the Lakers, his point guard has been going through a slump. Yet in the post-match presser, Westbrook claimed that he believes calling his run of form a slump gives him a way out of holding himself accountable, and he does not want to do that. According to him, he's focused on doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he'll figure out the best way to come out of this bad form with a solution and improve his gameplay, because all he has to do, in his own words, figure out ways to just make a effing shot. Westbrook, whose game has been described as ice cold over the years, saw the DJ in the Lakers-Kings game play cold as ice every time he missed a shot, in a mockery of the respectability of the title gives his game. Told about this in the post-match presser, Westbrook took it well enough, calling it funny and saying that he hopes they played it in the last 14 years that he's been absolutely tearing it up in the NBA. He's gone on to say that he will sit down with the technical staff to work on improving his technique and make adjustments so that he can start getting more points on the board. He said that he never pointed fingers at anyone and has always tried to introspect and come up with ways to improve his game and take it to the next level, all the while avoiding panicking, because he says he's never lacked confidence in himself and his abilities. Westbrook's shooting struggles mean that there are unsurprisingly question marks on his fit at the Lakers. The Lakers have been in dire straits this season, with LeBron James having to shoulder the responsibility of carrying the team. He's had to compensate for the MCL sprain that Anthony Davis suffered in December, all the while also having to put in the work as the primary rim protector after DeAndre Jordan having been finally relegated to the bench and Dwight Howard just barely making do as the last pure center in the team roster. Despite the question marks on his teammate, James has said that he will be putting in the work with Westbrook to get him back on form, saying that he has already been putting in the effort and the shots are just not going his way at the time. Now, in other NBA news, NBA to stop daily COVID-19 testing. The NBA has informed the teams that they have decided to do away with the daily COVID-19 testing procedure for players and technical staff. The only players subjected to these tests will be those that have either been exposed to someone who is COVID positive, have either shown symptoms that line up with those of COVID, or if there is an executive order from the higher-ups calling for testing of someone specific. Further details on the change in the policy have stated that players and staff that remain unvaccinated are eligible for a booster shot, but have yet to get one, are all going to remain under daily surveillance and will have to undergo testing on game days till February 17th. The current COVID situation, although worsening worldwide, has yet to reach the calamitous levels of the 2019-20 season, which the season and consequently the playoffs had to be completed without any fans in the biosecure Walt Disney World resort bubble. This season has not remained unaffected by the virus. Numerous players have had to enter the 10 mandatory day of health and safety protocols after testing positive. This number was in excess of 90 at one point, with teams having no players available in certain position, which meant that the NBA had to allow the teams to hand out 10-day contracts, which saw numerous free agents and promising players from the NBA G League being called up so that the season could go on. This concept of giving 10-day contracts to G League players saw so many G League players get contracted that the G League itself had to be postponed. NBA games have been postponed, and in some cases, like the Toronto Raptors, teams are playing behind closed doors. Next, Cavaliers hire Jose Calderon. President of basketball operations for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kobe Altman, announced that they have hired former NBA guard Jose Calderon as their special advisor to the front office. Calderon had been working with the National Basketball Players Association, NBPA, in which he served as the special assistant to the executive director. His role meant that he worked closely with Michelle Roberts, the NBPA's executive director. He also worked closely with the NBPA's senior management team on issues relevant to the current NBA players and on formulating union strategy as a whole. In his new role with the Cavaliers, Calderon will be assisting the front office in achieving their goals both on and off the court through a variety of engagement strategies. A veteran of the NBA, Calderon in his career represented 7 different teams over a period of 14 seasons. The highlight of his time in the NBA being the Cavaliers, reaching the NBA Finals in the 2017-18 season. An impressive player boasting a respectful career average of 8.9 points, 5.8 assists, and 2.4 rebounds in 26.4 minutes over a staggering 895 career games. Born in Spain, Calderon initially played 6 seasons in the Spanish professional basketball leagues before joining the NBA in 2005 with the Toronto Raptors. He also had the honor of representing Spain at 4 successive Olympic Games from 2004 to 2016, earning silver medals in 2008 and 2012 and a bronze medal in 2016. Up next, father names mix-up. An NBA announcer mistakenly referenced the wrong man as Kevin Porter Jr.'s father in a midweek game between the Houston Rockets and the Washington Wizards. Wizards broadcaster Glenn Conser was recorded as saying after Porter Jr. hit a game-winning buzzer-beater three-pointer, "You gotta give credit. Kevin Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled that trigger right at the right time." The last-second shot gave the Rockets a hard-fought 114-111 victory. What's turned into a public relations nightmare, Porter Jr.'s actual father, Brian Porter Sr., according to court records kept with the King County Superior Court, pleaded guilty in 1993 to killing a 14-year-old girl. He was then reportedly shot and killed in Seattle in 2004. Consor took to Twitter on Thursday to admit he had mistakenly thought Porter Jr. was the son of a former NBA player with the same last name who played several seasons in Washington during the 70s through the early 1980s. He also said he had reached out to Porter Jr. personally to apologize for his insensitive and hurtful comments in hopes that he will be able to talk to him soon. The comments were not met pleasantly by the basketball community, with most notably the arguable GOAT of the sport, LeBron James, criticizing Consor's comments, saying that he believes that they were uttered in a bid by Consor to appear to be funny. James, in a strong-worded critique, said that even though he praised for Consor, he also at the same time believes that he does not belong in the world of basketball. While some news channels reached out to NBC Sports Washington for a comment, they were unable to get an answer. Up next, Bulls president, all praise for vice president. Chicago Bulls president and chief operating officer COO Michael Reinsdorf had initially hired Arturas Karnisovas in the spring of 2020 to restructure his basketball operations and bring them back to glory and in playoff contention. With nothing but fantastic results to be seen, it seems that the decision has paid off big dividends. According to Reinsdorf, when he had hired Arturas, it was obviously with the intention of seeing change for the better and to see the Bulls go in a new and improved direction forward. But he admits that to see the results so fast, he'd been left surprised. Offering insight into the organization's dynamics at the present, he says that everyone is obsessed with working towards getting the team on to the next level with no drama and no unnecessary conflicts of any kind whatsoever. That's a wrap for this video. Will we see Russell Westbrook regain his form as one of the best players of this century, or is it the beginning of the end? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.